Hello everyone, this is Blair Space. I am back from my vacation, and I had a good time, really good time. And in that time, now I didn't have much time to play on KU, but, when I had spare time not with family and all that, I did manage to squeeze in, time leveling up Kaiju. So, this is gonna be like, think of this as like a mega showcasing. It's gonna have not the Gojira, the starter, showcasing, Kong showcasing, and Godzilla 2014 showcasing. Okay. Alright, here we go. Now here is Gojira, here is Idol, pretty subtle, as it should. The walk, and sprint. Next we have crunch. Next we have tail undercut. Next we have quaking stomp. And finally we have basically his atomic breath, but it's called incandescent light. Really damn cool. And finally, we have his roars. First, we have the first. And then we have terrorizing growl. Now, what are my thoughts on his current spot after this remodel? Well, he got a small health. He got like a 200 HP buff. I believe his melee cooldowns were also made a little bit quicker, so he has stronger melee power than before. And his atomic breath was buffed incredibly. I think it's like double the damage it was before. That or just it's a lot more than before. It's something along those lines, but point being, overall he is significantly better. But at the same time, I'll be honest, I think now many people think he's like B tier. And I can understand why, but consider this, he's still, C tier. Very high C tier, however. Let's not get that twisted. He's, like, second best of C tier. The only being, like, overall, I'd say Gojira technically has more power because he's a god in the water, but, like, if you were to do it just on base, power, like, I guess you could technically say Gojira could rival Gojira for top of C tier. The main reason he's not in B tier is simply because of this. Low health and low speed is a bad combination. Now, although he has better combo damage, hit and run tactics can whittle him down because you can't combo someone if they're doing hit and run. And if they have more health than you, or more damage than you, they're gonna benefit from hit and run. Or, because you're slow and don't have much health, you can also get whittled down by just, people ranging you. But that being said, he still is significantly more threatening than before. Like, yeah. just don't underestimate him, I suppose. Like, don't be a dingus when fighting him. And next, let's go to Kong. Okay, next up, we have Kong 2017. Now, let's see. Here's walk. Sprint. Here's primate punch. Here's primate slam. And here's primate strike. Here's primal roar. And here is assert dominance. Now, how does he do stat-wise? First I'm gonna say he's top of B tier now, just above Manda. Now, let me explain why. Now, his cooldown, Primal Punch, 500 on max, Primate Slam is 680, Primate Strike is just 600. The cooldowns are kind of long, but because he has 3 melees, he can cycle through them, so he actually does have pretty good damage. Primate Punch, 10 charge, Primate Strike, 15 charge, and Primate Slam, 20 charge. Now, here's the deal with Kong. His base speed is 32, which is actually fairly quick for a land kaiju. But he also has a super jump, which is actually pretty big. And Primate Strike lunges him. Now, here's the deal, what I think of Kong. Obviously, he has decent health, 3,300. Now, if you want my opinion, the build I have planned is 8 speed, or you could do max speed, but my reasoning why is that puts you in 38.4 to 40 speed. Combine this with Primate Strike, which gives you even more speed, or the super jump. You could technically outspeed every other land kaiju in the game, except for Kumanga, Jet Jaguar, Mother Longlegs, and Mothra Larva. Now, and even then, I saw it, and I don't know if they had the Kong had max speed, but I saw a Kong chasing after a Jet Jaguar by using Primate Strike. He was actually barely... Granted, he wasn't catching the Jet Jaguar, but he was on its tail. Like, he was actually not struggling too hard to keep up. So, for me, Kong, you could do half health, half regen, but there is a lot of potential by doing just max speed or just a lot of speed with Kong. Like, he has plenty of potential. His swim speed is 80, which, you know, I mean, if you have a lot of speed, that should be nullified for the most part. You know, plus 80 speed isn't terrible. I can't say that's terrible, you know? It's not terrible. So here's the deal. You can also jump and then combine your melee. Like, okay, to give you an idea, a flyer, realistically speaking, cannot range you with melee, because you can jump and then strike them. You can just jump and lunge at them, which can catch them off guard. You can use Primate Slam to jump up and just smack them. Yeah, like, Kong has so much mobility and potential. Like, it's actually amazing. Like, he's so fun to play as, too. Granted, it's not fun until every Titanus wannabe decides to chase you, because, grr, Kong, monkey, make me go grr. But ignore that, and he's actually extremely fun to play as. Like, if he was not part of the if he was not DLC, he would actually be classified as a Chad. I don't say that for just any kaiju. So take that as you will. Like, he can, you know, deny, like, you know, he can deny sky campers with melee, unless they're a beam one. And looking at you, Mecha. He can also, using that lunge, he's really good at punishing, like, kaiju with beams. That, or what he can do is you can use jump, Primate Strike, and you can actually hit someone below you. I've done that. Listen, if you ignore a Thermo's Pulse, like if you take Thermo's Pulse out of the equation, doing that, you can actually kill a Thermo. Like, I've, you know, done that. Me and Thermo had a respectable fight where he actually didn't use Pulse, so thumbs up to that guy. And I was actually doing really good and actually won because I was able to jump over his head and with Primate Strike and hit him. So yeah, Kong has so much potential. He has a lot of mobility, a lot of good melee power. His downsides are, you know, obviously if you're pretty far away, then yeah, you're probably gonna be able to beam him safely. And if you're a flyer with a beam, well, I mean, unless you're stupid and hang out like around this height, then yeah, he'll be able to get you. But if you go above that, then yeah, there's not much he can do. But he's literally the best kaiju from the DLC, from the Skull Island DLC. Top of B tier, very solid. And next, we're gonna go to the main Chad himself, 2014. Alright, everyone. Finally, the moment of truth. 2014. 13, the Chad himself. Now, let's get the show on the road. Here's the idol for you. Here's Walk. Oh my god, this is so cool. And then there's Sprint, which are all very good. Like, holy crap. Like, this is literally Kayu's best model, in my opinion. It's just so good. So good. Next, we have Claw Shred, basically a claw swipe. Next, we have Titanic Impact, basically a tail whip. We have Titanic Rumbling, which is like a stomp, which actually has really good range. Like, look at that. And I think it goes up here, too, so you can hit, like, flyers if you can. It's weird, but it's fascinating. And then we have Atomic Firestorm. Absolutely amazing. Next, we have Legends Roar. To top it all off, we have God's Call. Now, what are my thoughts on him tier-wise? Now, as you know from the last tier list, he was like bottom of S tier, which was really good. Here's the deal. Right now, he's like mid B tier. And here's why. I'm going to list off the reasons from how impactful from they are. Least impactful to most impactful. So first up, I mean, he lost like 100-ish base health. That's barely anything. The next main reason is that both of his melees, Claw, and this is what used to be Bite, but, you know, it fills the same role. They both lost 50 damage at max. It used to be 600, and this used to be 670. Now it's 550 and 620. So that overall lowers his combo DPS by 100 per combo, which is actually a lot more than you think. Next up, they actually increased the prices of his melees, like Claw's 13. And then Titanic Impact, though, is 20. And Titanic Rumbling is also 20. So his melees are a lot more expensive, so it's a bit more reliant on charge now. So that technically indirectly lowers his melee DPS even a little bit further, too. Or at least, you know, it restricts him a bit more. And next up is his hitboxes. His hitboxes are not bad, mind you. But when you compare them to before, where they covered his entire body with both of them, meaning he could combo and range at the same time, yeah, no, it's definitely not nearly as good. Like, Claw is actually what you'd expect. I'd say it goes from up here, like, to here. So, like, the really short Kaiju you cannot hit, and Titanic Impact or Tail Whip, it's, you know, it takes up the lower half of his body. Like, it goes up to, like, his torso or so. And Titanic Rumbling, actually, I will say, if you run into a small Kaiju on your ankles, don't panic, per se. You don't need to panic, because you can, although much more expensive than the normal combo, you can combine Titanic Impact and Tyrannical Rumbling as a means to try and deal with, like, you know, small Kaiju that are on you, so to speak. But overall, he is significantly weaker in the melee and range department, but he's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. But the biggest one is his Atomic Breath. Now, first, we're gonna just count how long it takes from when I click this button for it to come out, and then once the Atomic Breath ends, I want you to count how many seconds until I can use it again. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Exactly. Like, I'd say that I think the charge up time is like 4 seconds, but the cooldown itself, I'm pretty sure it's 13 of 15, which is for bananas long. I will say that in raw damage, the beam itself is actually burst damage type now. Like, it does 1900, or basically 1900 in total now, with 130 per tick, which is pretty good if you can land it. But here's the deal. The old version did like 1600 or 1700 per atomic breath, but it could spam it. Like, the cooldown was basically non-existent, and top it off, the charge-up was non-existent. Like, I'm pretty sure, in the amount of time you used up your atomic firestorm and you have it ready again, the old version of 2014 would probably be midway through using his third atomic breath. Which, considering how, like, think of it like this. And consider the fact that the time between, if you're playing like a ranged battle, consider the amount of time between these. Consider that your opponent might also heal a couple hundred health, between the time you're waiting for this. Like, it's really good for ambushing, but if you want to actually fight someone in head-to-head beam combat, it's never gonna happen. At least, if the idea is, although the raw damage itself is good, the overall damage is way lower. Like, consider that the old 2014 could maybe do like 2.5 of its, by the time you use one of these and you're ready to use yours a second time, again, the old 2014 would have been halfway through using its third one. So consider 2 atomic breaths from old 2014. So over like 3,000, then half an atomic breath. That's like 4,000 worth of beam damage. While you did 1,900, and your opponent probably healed some of that off already. And and combine this with he's not the slowest, but combine this with your fairly slow speed. Basically, if any kaiju is faster than you and has at least a mediocre beam charge up time, it will beat you by just running away and beaming alone. Even a normal Titanus Gojira, which doesn't have the beam spam potential of Heisei, can do that to you. And on that note, many Godzillas that you could face tank before, they can face tank you now. And honestly, I'm not upset by these changes, actually. Because, sure, he's Chad, but you gotta admit when a kaiju is overpowered. And honestly, that's a part of being a Chad. You gotta learn, and you gotta learn to accept when you need to be nerfed. And honestly, 2014 needed to be nerfed for a while. So I'm, quite frankly, not upset by this. He's in a balanced state now. He actually has, weakness and counterplay. On that note, with a faster kaiju with a beam, that basically means any flyer with a beam can harass you, so just keep a heads up with that. It's rough. It's pretty rough, but you're not defenseless. Like, you're still a pretty strong kaiju, overall. So on that note, everyone, I think I'll wrap up the video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.